Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Public Service Commission of South Carolina. Today is March 10th, 2022. It is 2:02 p.m. and we're here today for the weekly commission business meeting. Before we start our meeting, please join me in a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Present in the hearing room, we have Commissioners J. Williams, Caston, C. Williams, Powers, Belzer, and Thomas. Joining us virtually, we have Commissioner Irvin. General Counsel, Wessinger Hill, if you would, please read the agenda.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, Commissioners. The first order of business would be to set the next business meeting for the Commission, and staff would recommend that the next business meeting be held on Thursday, March 24th at 2 p.m.
Thursday, March 24th will be our next business meeting. Thursday, March 24th at 2 p.m. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. And moving on to the utilities agenda for today, staff would recommend that the Commission consider items 1 and 2 together. These are both requests for a 30-day extension of time until May 1st, 2022 from two separate utilities to file their respective 2021 water and wastewater annual reports. Number 1 is the extension request of JCAB Utilities in docket number 2008-140-A. Item number 2 is an extension request of South Carolina Water Utilities Incorporated's Harbor Island System in the same docket.
Thank you, General Counsel Wessinger Hill. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Chairman Williams.
Commissioner Williams, you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I move that the Commission grant the request for extensions of time to file annual reports in items numbers 1 and 2 as listed by Ms. Hill.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Williams' motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
I vote aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 3, Mr. Chairman, is in docket number 2022-76W. Before the Commission today is the consideration of approval of the water agreement between Blue Granite Water Company and Mungo Homes Properties, LLC for phases 5 through 9 of the Jessamine Place development. The Commission is asked to approve the water agreement for the aforereferenced phases of development without notice and hearing, as there are no new rate or charges or changes in schedule for which notice or hearing would be required. The Commission had previously approved a developer agreement for phases 1 through 4 of the Jessamine Place development by order number 2019-772 in November 2019.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Thomas, you have the floor, sir.
thank you. I move that the Commission approve the application for approval of water agreement for phases 5 through 9 of the Jessamine Place development between Blue Granite Water Company and Mungo Home Properties, LLC, without notice and hearing. The Office of Regulatory Staff has no objection to the application.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Thomas's motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 4 is in docket number 2014-346WS. Staff is presenting for Commission consideration the petition of Defusky Island Utility Company Incorporated for reconsideration of Commission Order number 2022-79.
Thank you, General Counsel Wessinger Hill. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Chairman Williams.
Commissioner Williams, you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I move that the petition for reconsideration of the Commission Order number 2022-79 by Defusky Island Utility Company Incorporated be denied.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Williams' motion, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, may I just state for the record that I am recused in this docket. I have not participated in the hearing nor in any discussions or issues related to this docket. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Belzer. Hearing no further discussion, we will vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer is recused. Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers. Aye. Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 5 is in docket number 2022-74E. Staff would request this item be carried over. On March 3rd, 2022, the Office of Regulatory Staff wrote and requested that they needed additional time to complete their review.
Item 5 is carried over.
Item number 6 is in docket number 2022-73E. This is a request for withdrawal of his filed complaint by Mr. Kenneth R. Wilson against Dominion Energy, South Carolina Incorporated.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Powers, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the commission grant the written request of Kenneth R. Wilson to withdraw his complaint against Dominion Energy, South Carolina Incorporated.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Powers' motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
For the next items, Mr. Chairman, staff would recommend that the commission consider items 7 and 8 together. Number 7 is in docket number 2021-93E, and number 8 is in docket number 2021-192E. Both matters are motions by the Sierra Club for pro hoc vici admission of attorney Justin Samolovsky.
It's my first cousin, by the way.
Mine too.
Only joking, Mr. Attorney Somolovsky. Commissioners, hearing the request, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chair Belzer.
I move the commission grant the Sierra Club's motions for admission pro hoc vici of Justin T. Somolowski Esquire in items 7 and 8 as listed by Ms. Hill.
Commissioners, hearing Vice Chair Belzer's motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With regard to items number 9 and 10, staff would also recommend that these items be considered together by the commission. Number 9 is in docket number 2022-62E, which is a power purchase agreement between Duke Energy Progress LLC and Bell Solar LLC, for which the signatories of this agreement also request confidential treatment of certain portions, and that the commission accept the power purchase agreement for filing. Number 10 is in docket number 2022-63E, and staff presents yet another power purchase agreement and confidentiality request for consideration. The agreement is between Duke Energy Progress LLC and Bishopville Solar LLC. The signatories seek confidential treatment of certain portions of the agreement and also request that the commission accept the agreement for filing.
Thank you, General Counsel Wessinger Hill. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Thomas, you have the floor, sir.
thank you. I move that the commission accept for filing the power purchase agreements in item numbers 9 and 10, and that the commission grant the request for confidential treatment of certain portions of the agreements in the items as listed by Ms. Hill.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Thomas's motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Number 11 is in docket number 2021-210E. Staff presents for commission consideration the request of Clifton Power Company regarding the Public Service Commission's jurisdiction related to electric vehicle charging stations and certain related matters.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Powers.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the commission direct the chief clerk to set this matter for hearing and provide pre-file testimony guidelines, as well as set an intervention date for any interested stakeholders.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Powers' motion, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Powers.
I might add, it's a little reluctance in this end that we just don't have a whole lot of information, but I do feel that taking this opportunity to set it for a hearing may give us some good information as well and to move things along. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powers. I tend to agree with your assessment of this matter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Commissioner Irvin, you have the floor, sir.
I don't see where there's any case or controversy, any judicial controversy at issue here. It appears that the petitioner's perhaps asking for legal advice, and we can't give legal advice. I'm just wondering if we should decline to respond to the inquiry since there is no justiciable controversy. Mr. Powers, would you accept the friendly amendment to go with that outcome?
Well, Commissioner, I don't think that would be a friendly amendment. I think that would be the exact opposite of what we're doing. But, you know, I had those same thoughts about it. I really wasn't sure what they're asking us to do, but, you know, we're on a learning curve about electric vehicles and learning how to handle these charging stations. And I just thought it may be an opportunity to learn as much as anything else, but I do not disagree with anything you said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
No.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 12 is a request by staff for the commission to consider a request for proposal of consultants and experts related to South Carolina Public Service Authority, together with commission staff's draft marketing plan regarding such requests for proposals for experts and consultants.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Chairman Williams,
Commissioner Caston, you have the floor, sir.
I move that the commission instruct the clerk to issue a request for proposal of consultants and experts related to the 2022 competitive procurement of renewable energy, CPRE, proceeding filed by the South Carolina Public Service Authority, also known as Santee Cooper, in compliance with the requirements of South Carolina Code Section 58-31-277, supplemented 2021. The clerk may issue a request for proposal of consultants and experts related to the Santee Cooper's CPRE proceeding following inquiry with the utility for a more specific time period of when such CPRE filing will be made by Santee Cooper. Additionally, I move that the clerk of the commission issue a request for proposal of consultants and experts related to Santee Cooper's integrated resource plan proceeding. I further move that we approve the proposed marketing plan for request for proposals presented by Mr. Bachman related to Santee Cooper's upcoming CPRE and IRP proceedings. I further move that the commission staff is authorized to make changes or adjustments to the schedule of this plan as needed. I so move.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Caston's motion, is there any discussion?
Chairman
Miss-
Williams?
Commissioner Williams, you have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you. Did Mr. Bachman want to make a presentation on the marketing plan?
Mr. Bachman,
I'm prepared to do so, yes, ma'am. So essentially, the marketing plan is going to be relatively similar to what we've seen for RFPs in the past. It's going to operate through 3 campaigns, one that's earned content, one that's organic content, and then commission property placement. So we'll post on several industry sites and publications, we'll produce a notice for regional media, and we'll add the RFP once produced to the commission website. Our obvious first steps are posting the PSC properties, which we can do immediately upon the creation of the RFP. It'll also give us the opportunity to continue our public information notice program. We'll produce that PIN and we'll send it to our contacts within South Carolina and the Southeast. We've got a media list of about 75, 80 contacts that we send this sort of public information notice out to. And it includes publications like Utility Dive, the South Carolina, North Carolina Business Journals, Energy News Network, Power Magazine, and newspapers within the state and the region beyond. We'll also host it on NARUC and the Association of Energy Services Professionals websites in order to ensure that there is industry awareness of our needs. That timeline is contingent upon the establishment of a docket and the procedural schedule, but I believe that's probably the best way to proceed, and I remain open to input from commissioners. Thank you.
Mr. Bachman, I have some input for you. You're doing a great job. Any further
sir.
discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chair Belzer.
I would offer an amendment, to Commissioner Caston's motion. Commissioner, I think I, heard you say that, that the clerk would issue the RFP, related to the CPR proceeding following inquiry of, specifically when when Santee Cooper plans to file their CPRE. Did I understand that correctly? It was near and I would just ask that, I think Santee Cooper has indicated that they will be filing their CPRE no sooner than September. I think Santee Cooper will keep us apprised of that, and I know that with the process of issuing an RFP and finding qualified experts without conflict, that sometimes that takes some time, and I think that's why we're approaching this now. But I would just ask that that sentence be stricken from the motion. I think Santee Cooper's already provided us with some information on that, and I just don't think we need to have that in the motion. That's my opinion, but I'm all for that amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Understood. Commissioner Caston, would you mind if I comment on that amendment?
No, sir, please do.
Commissioner Belzer, Vice Chair Belzer, I understand where you're coming from. The way I read that sentence, though, is a little bit differently than you may be reading it. And I just wanted to offer my reading of that sentence to determine whether or not we are on the same page or a different page. It would appear to me that Commissioner Caston's motion allows the clerk to follow up with the utility as to whether or not they have a date other than the date they mentioned in their most recent, if not most recent, but unallowable ex parte, where I think they mentioned they plan to file their CPRE no earlier than September 2022. While I'm not an expert in RFPs, I could see a question arising as to when the expert needs to be available and prepared to proceed in the case. And I think that sentence just allows the clerk to make that inquiry if that inquiry is deemed appropriate by the clerk. Now, I could be misunderstanding that, but I just wanted to bounce that off you to see if you have a different understanding.
Well, I thought, as I heard the motion, that it said following inquiry by the clerk of Santee Cooper. If it is discretionary, then I certainly have no issue with that. I just don't know that we need to order the clerk to do that. Is my
Do you have suggested verbiage for the, I guess for that, because I understand what you're saying, and that's, yeah, that would not be my intent either.
Instead of saying maybe if you would rather it be a friendly amendment, or I don't know if I need to amend my amendment, but instead of saying following inquiry would be following additional inquiry if needed, or something like that. Does that meet with your reading or your understanding, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am. I think I was focusing on the may, focus on the clerk may.
Well, I thought that it was the clerk may issue a request for proposal following inquiry. Now, I was reading the verb as, and the direct object of the sentence being the request for proposal, not the inquiry. So perhaps if it was more along the lines of the clerk may issue a request for proposal related to Santee Cooper's CPRE following inquiry if needed, something like that.
I think that would definitely add clarity.
Okay, then I would, if I may withdraw my former amendment and suggest just the following inquiry with utility if needed for a more specific date. Would that suffice?
I think that would remove all doubt of the meaning of that sentence.
I agree. I'm fine with that too. I think that does clear things up.
Well, I'm offering that as amendment. Are you accepting it as a friendly amendment that doesn't need a vote, or do we need to vote on that? The other commissioners may need to weigh in.
Do you accept that as a friendly amendment, Commissioner Caston?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, commissioners, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, that does complete the utilities agenda for today. And with your permission, I would like to move to the motor carrier transportation agenda.
Permission granted.
Thank you, sir. Items number 1 through 5 are all requests and applications for Class C or either Class E authority. Staff would recommend that those items numbered 1 through 4 be taken together. I'll be glad to review them briefly for the commission prior to your consideration. Item number 1 is in docket number 2022-79-T. It's the application of Naomi Mack doing business as M&C General Fast Transportation for a Class C certificate, taxi certificate. Number 2 is in docket number 2022-83T. This is the application of ZBS Logistics LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item number 3 is in docket number 2022-85T, the application of Dependable Senior Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. And finally, in item number 4, this is docket number 2022-87T, which is the application of E&J's NEMT Services LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate.
Commissioners.
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chair Belzer.
maybe I misheard, but I was following along on the agenda, and I believe that item 2 is actually docket number 2022-85T. And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
docket number, or item number 3 is actually docket number 2022-86T. And I think that those numbers were misstated.
They were. I do apologize, Commissioner. You're correct. Item number 2 is docket number 2022-85T, which is the application of ZBS Logistics LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. And item number 3 is is in docket number 2022-86T, which is the application of Dependable Senior Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate.
Thank you for the
You're welcome.
clarification.
Thank you, ma'am.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Chair.
Commissioner Urban,
Thank you, Chair. Move the commission approve the application for the PSC authority listed in items number 1. So moved.
Commissioner Urban, we were unable to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
You're very faint. And somewhat distorted.
Okay. Once you have another commissioner take my motion, I will allow.
Mr. Chairman, may I? May I make the motion?
Vice
Make a
Chair Belzer, please proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the commission approve the applications for Class C authority in items number 1 through 4 as listed by Ms. Hill.
Commissioners, upon request of Commissioner Urban, Vice Chair Belzer has stepped in his place to make said motion. Hearing said motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, item number 5 is in docket number 2021-330T. It is the application of La Barberera Movers LLC for a Class E household certificate, and I apologize for butchering their name.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Thomas, you have the floor, sir.
I move that the commission approve the application of La Barber Movers LLC for a Class E household goods certificate of public convenience and necessity for operation of a motor vehicle carrier.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Thomas's motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban. Commissioner Urban voted aye by signifying so with a thumbs up. Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, the next items are all requests for extensions. Staff would recommend that item number 6, 7, 8, and 11 be taken together. I'll review them briefly for the commission. Item number 6 is in docket number 2021-338T. It is a request of Line Leaders Logistics LLC for an extension of time until April 30th, 2022 to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item number 7 is in docket number 2021-300T. It is a request of Crimson Beauty Transporting LLC for a request for extension of time until April 30th, 2022 to comply with commission rules and regulations. Item number 8 is in docket number 2021-341T. It is a request of Med1 Medical Transportation LLC for an extension of time until March 31st, 2022 to comply with commission rules and regulations. And finally, item number 11 is in docket number 2021-368T. It is a request of Genders Adult Daycare Transportation LLC for an extension of time until May 16th, 2022 to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Vice Chair Belzer.
I move the commission grant the extensions of time to comply with commission rules and regulations as requested in items 6, 7, 8, and 11 as listed by Ms. Hill.
Commissioners, hearing Vice Chair Belzer's motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban. Commissioner Urban votes aye, signifying so with the thumbs up. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
I vote aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 9 is in docket number 2021-68-T. It is a request for extension from Sullivan's Non-Medical Transportation LLC for an extension of time until March 24th, 2022 to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Chairman Williams.
Commissioner Caston, you have the floor, sir.
I move that the commission grant the request of Sullivan's Non-Medical Transportation, SNMT LLC, for an additional extension of time until March 24th, 2022, to comply with commission rules and regulations. If the company is not in compliance with commission rules and regulations by March 24th, 2022, the company will need to file a new application. I so move.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Caston's motion, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chair Belzer, you have the floor, ma'am.
I would just like to state that I'm in agreement with Commissioner Caston's motion. The order originally granting the certification for this carrier was issued March 24th of 2021. They've had almost a year to come into compliance and have not yet done so. And therefore, I agree that we should not extend much more additional time. We'll give them a couple of weeks, but they need to get into compliance. They can file another application if later if they get things worked out. But I thank Commissioner Caston for the motion, and I will be supporting it.
Any further discussion? Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Thank you, Vice Chair Belzer. We will now vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
Aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban votes aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 10 is in docket number 2021-87T. It is the request of extension from Here For You Logistics LLC for an additional extension of time until April 30th, 2022 to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Chairman Williams.
Commissioner Caston, you have the floor, sir.
I move that the commission grant the request of Here For You Logistics LLC for an additional extension of time until March 30th, 2022, to comply with commission rules and regulations. If the company is not in compliance with commission rules and regulations by March 30th, 2022, the company will need to file a new application. I so move.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Caston's motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban. Commissioner Urban votes aye. Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 12 is in docket number 2021-312T. It is the request of extension by Medical Transportation South Carolina LLC, where they had requested an extension of time until May 24th, 2022. However, Mr. Chairman, this matter is now moot between the request being made by Medical Transport South Carolina to now, the Office of Regulatory Staff issued the certificate and the extension is no longer needed.
Thank you, General Counsel Wessinger Hill. Please move to the next item.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, items number 13 through 14 are requests to amend, but we will look at those individually with your permission.
Permission granted.
Thank you, sir. Item number 13 is in docket number 2021-364T, and it is the request to amend their tariff and for use of an electronic bill of lading by NBF Beaufort LLC, doing business as Two Men and a Truck, Beaufort.
Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Powers, you have the floor, sir.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the commission approve the request of NBF Beaufort to amend the rates and charges in its proposed tariff as reasonable. NBF provided justification to the commission for its request to increase its rates and charges. The Office of Regulatory Staff indicates NBF is in compliance with all commission rules and regulations. I further move the commission approve the request of NBF Beaufort to utilize an electronic bill of lading as presented in the application, as long as this bill of lading conforms to the requirements of regulations 103-158, 159, and 162 of the South Carolina Uniform Commercial Code and all other statutes and regulations of the Public Service Commission. I also move the commission request the Office of Regulatory Staff update the mailing address of the company on its certificate of public convenience and necessity. NBF Beaufort shall provide a correct current address of the company to the commission and to ORS within 7 days of the issuance of the final order in this docket. However, I move the commission deny the request of NBF to utilize several sections of the proposed tariff without further modification. The commission requires NBF use a full replacement coverage provision approved by the commission, whether the provision is included in the tariff or is provided to a customer upon request. The proposed tariff does not provide sufficient information regarding the full replacement coverage options. I move the company either use the previously approved coverage found in the current tariff or seek approval to change the coverage provision. I move the commission deny approval of the presentation of claim provision, section 3.2, which requires a customer to present a claim for damages to the company after a move within 96 hours of the move. I move it is reasonable for the company to require a customer report a claim of damage within 30 days after a move. Finally, I move NBF modify its table of contents to reflect accurate page numbers for each section of the tariff. In addition, NBF shall provide the commission and ORS with a final tariff and bill of lading that conforms to the findings of the commission within 30 days of the date the commission issued its order regarding this docket. Mr. Chairman, that would be my motion. As to the 96 hours, when I did the math, that is only 4 days, and that is why I would make the recommendation of 30 days. So move.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Powers' motion, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chair Belzer.
while I appreciate the Commissioner Powers' motion, I respectfully disagree with two portions of it and will be voting no. One is with regard to the full replacement coverage. The proposed tariff does state additional liability coverage options will be provided upon request, and that certainly, in my opinion, would apply to anyone seeking full replacement coverage. And as far as the presentation of claims, as I read the redlined version versus the proposed version, this company was previously approved for 96 hours. The changes to that section, in my opinion, were really just cleaning up the language to make it a little more professional reading, perhaps, and therefore they did not seek a change in the 96 hours. It was really, in my opinion, just cleaning up the language to make it a little more professional. So I will be voting no on the motion for those two reasons. Thank you.
Commissioners, any further discussion? Commissioner Powers, I appreciate your motion. We've discussed this matter at length. There have been prior motions made where I voted in support of a 30-day minimum to allow the shipper to make a claim for damaged property. Upon further consideration and study, I've come to understand that the commission has approved a number of different timelines, some 30 days, some longer than 30 days, some less than 30 days. Here in this instance, this mover was approved for 96 hours prior to this item being on our agenda. And so, in light of my recent study and consideration of the issues regarding this matter, the notification deadline, or how much time should be allowed for the shipper to notify the company as a matter of consistency, I will be voting no against your motion. It's not that I don't respect the motion, I understand where you're coming from, but I think the commission at some point needs to address this matter through a regulation so that all parties will be on notice as to the notice requirement or the time allowed for a shipper to notify a mover of damage to their property. And with that, sir, I will respectfully be voting no on your motion.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond?
Absolutely, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I would certainly entertain a reasonable number. I just have a hard time with 4 days. If I have a company move on Monday and I'm working out of town and I get to my place on Saturday, I have no recourse whatsoever. It's just the 96 hours bothers me. I'm not stuck on 30 days. I think I like 30 days, but if someone wants to make some sort of amendment with a more reasonable time than 96 hours, I would certainly be amenable to that and would vote for it. I would like to see this matter go forward. As to the other provision raised by Vice Chair Belser, if that's a good understanding, then I would have no problem with that being made a friendly amendment. But 96 hours to me, but just either you miss a weekend and you have to go to work on Monday, or if you move on Monday and you can't get there in time, it's just, I think, unfair to the person who's moving. Thank you.
Commissioner Powers, you are demonstrating excellent leadership in bridge building by offering for our consideration what is a reasonable amount of time.
I would be happy with 14 days, just enough time to get people through the weekends and through the moves, because of, you know, a lot of these moves, people are working and trying to get, really living in 2 places at once, trying to get things done, and it's just, it's, you know, it'll give them some breathing room to discover whatever's necessary and not be locked out.
I think that's reasonable for me. I think that's reasonable, Commissioner Powers. With that amendment, I can support your motion. For me, that's speaking for Commissioner J. Williams. Any further discussion, commissioners?
Chairman Williams,
Commissioner Williams, you have the floor, ma'am.
thank you. I share similar concerns that have been raised, and I understood that we had done, I need to ask a question. Have we held hearings regarding this aspect? Are we looking at rulemaking in this regard? Do we have, and my point is, you know, have we considered a variety of options and looked at best management practices when we determine the nicely offered 2 weeks? But is that a reasoned best practice that we're comfortable with?
Speaking for me, speaking for me and me alone, what I understand is that we've discussed this issue at great length, but I cannot confirm whether or not any action has been taken towards addressing this particular issue a reasonable amount of time for the shipper to notify the mover of damaged goods that may be ongoing, but as you know, commissioners are not directly involved in rulemaking. So I can't tell you what's happening on that front. I know we've talked about it in the hearing room on a number of occasions. Again, speaking for Commissioner Jay Williams, what I appreciate about Commissioner Powers' offer is that, one, I understand where he is coming from in attempting to meet in the middle with the shipper and the mover, and at least it offers a path forward that we can use until this rulemaking process initiates, if it has not already been initiated, to conclusion, where we actually have a regulation that's on the books. So that's where I am. I'm not. There may be another commissioner that has something additional or a clarification to offer.
Thank you. I will respectfully be voting no, more from the angle that, with regard to the number of days, more from the angle that I believe there are lesser numbers than 14 days that we have approved, and just believe that we should have well-reasoned and consistent decisions in this regard, and until we have that information. I did want to follow up on the question regarding the coverage. Was there a friendly amendment that Commissioner Belzer was offering? And
I did not offer any amendments.
thank you, Chairman Williams.
You're quite welcome, ma'am.
Chairman Williams.
Commissioner Caston, then Commissioner Powers.
I think at the last meeting we had, we kind of plowed some of this same ground. And certainly there was nothing that could be done in that short time frame anyway, relative to regulations. But as then, as I do now, have the concern that the competitive nature, perhaps, of this business, and you don't want to favor one over another, and I certainly don't think that's anyone's intent, certainly not mine. And I don't know how to split this baby. I'm not near that good, but I do think we need to do something to give at least this applicant something to go from. So while I have reservations about it being all over the place, for right now, until we can clean it up, I'm of the opinion let's clean it up the best we can. And 14 days is probably, maybe it has something to do with a better competitive position. But I would hope in the future, as we work toward this, that perhaps we just simply establish a not less than. And if anyone wants to make it a day more than that, 30 days more than that, 90 days more than that, that's fine. That will be their call for their business. But until we get that, which we do not have it now, we've got to decide something, because we'll do this every single time. So I don't know if 14 days is good, but it's good enough for me now, and I will support it in that respect. Thank you, sir.
All right, any further discussion?
One more thing, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, Commissioner Powers, I'm sorry, sir.
And I'm not trying to belabor any of this, but I know from the staff that the commission's held several workshops with input from stakeholders seeking changes in, regulations of this commission. And this may be one that needs to be pursued. I know, in earlier hearings, we've asked or talked about having some sort of form for this, and that the competition should be price and quality of service and not the, requirements, of the commission so much. Commissioner Irvin raised some good points in one of the hearings about having this form, and I remember agreeing with him on that. But these workshops that our staff does and does so well, I think may be a good place to start with getting this thing moving. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Powers. Thank you, fellow commissioners. Again, I appreciate the effort. I have never moved before. I have never used movers to move before, and so I can understand the desire to offer some guardrails or some level of protection for those who use movers to move household goods. Alternatively, I also can understand it being potentially burdensome on a mover to wait an extended period of time to have to keep liability open for someone to report damaged goods. I will say this: it's good to see a certain level of thought put into this matter, because I can't tell you for any rhyme or reason how other deadlines were chosen, whether they were more than 30 days. I think the standard is 9 months. The standard bill of lading or tariff is a 9-month period of time to report damaged goods, which seems extremely long, but someone somewhere at some point in time considered that appropriate. So I agree with you, Commissioner Caston. We need to do something that is reasonable now until we get to offering a regulation for consideration. And then also, too, I note that depending on what happens in the near future, this type of matter may not be something that the commission even hears. I think we just got to do the best we can with what we have in front of us. All right, if there are no further discussion, questions, concerns, we'll vote, starting with District 1.
I want to make sure, did you amend, Mr. Chair, if I may, did you amend your motion for 14 days? Were there any other amendments? No. Okay, thank you, Chair Williams.
All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams?
No.
Vice Chair Belzer?
No.
Commissioner Caston?
Aye.
Commissioner Urban?
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Powers?
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, item number 14 is in docket number 2022-18T. This is All My Sons Moving and Storage of Charleston that is requesting to amend its tariff and bill of lading.
Is there a motion?
Chairman Williams.
Commissioner Caston, you have the floor.
I move that the commission approve the request of All My Sons of Charleston to amend the tariff and bill of lading as set forth in its application. The company provided justification to the commission for the request to amend its tariff, and the Office of Regulatory Staff indicated the company is in compliance with all commission rules and regulations. The amendments are reasonable pursuant to the statutory regulations of the commission. I so move.
Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Caston's motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Urban.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
But aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And the last item on the agenda today for the commission is item number 15. It is in docket number 2021-30T. It is request to suspend the Class A restricted certificate number 1,278 by Antioch Educational Center, along with their request to withdraw their previous application to amend its Class A certificate.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Powers, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I originally made the motion granting the license back last year in May, and I would make the motion now. I would move that the commission grant the request of Antioch Educational Center withdraw its application to amend its Class A restricted certificate. I also move the commission grant Antioch's request to suspend its Class A restricted certificate number 1278. That would be my motion, Mr. Chairman, but I would like to add that this group made quite a good impression on this commission, and I think the difference in what they're doing is they're not going to charge money, but they do continue to help those in need.
Thank you, Commissioner Powers. Commissioners, hearing Commissioner Powers' motion, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote, starting with District 1, Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chair Belzer.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Caston.
Aye.
Commissioner Irvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Powers.
Aye.
Chairman Williams votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the items on the agenda before the commission today.
General Counsel Wessinger Hill, staff, commissioners, thank you for your participation today. We are adjourned.